The following announcement has been paid for by Perched on the Top Rope.
This is filthy, Tom Lawlor, and you're listening to the baddest show on the planet, Perched on the Top Rope.
I want to switch things up and talk a little bit about UFC. I was part of reality TV myself. I did an episode of MTV True Life, and I know it does not compare to being part of the UFC Ultimate Fighter 8 by any means. But what was it like for you, like being part of essentially like a reality TV show?
It was 2008, so it's almost like a different time period because back then, like, we didn't have smartphones like we do now.
Yeah.
So people aren't as used to just having, this thing at their disposal, which they can play games on, look at videos, talk to people. There's all these different things that they can do and they have access to. We didn't have that, right? You had like books, TV, music. You could go on the computer, but you had to sit down like we're doing right now and do it. So things were a little bit different. But for that show, we had access to none of that, right? So it was still designed to drive you absolutely crazy. They take 16 guys, they stick them in one house for 6 weeks without television, without phone, without internet, without books. And it's designed like they do a very good job of picking the different personality types that they think are going to have issues coexisting, and putting them in an environment where issues are bound to pop up. Like, it was bizarre, I guess. But like at that time in my life, let me think about this. I would have been 25, right? And I had been wrestling in college, kind of from there went into, pro wrestling and MMA right out of that. So, and the guys I grew up like watching, the generation of fighters and wrestlers that I grew up watching were like the party generation, right? So believe me, I was doing like a fair share of wild stuff on my own, outside of fighting, outside of mixed martial arts, outside of being in the Ultimate Fighter house. So being in there was relatively tame, you know what I mean, compared to like a night out in the town for me. But having cameras, nonstop in your face the entire time. You go to the shower, the camera's there. You go to the bathroom, the camera's there. There were times where we would talk about something in the van ride to the gym, and the producer would be like, "Don't talk about that now." Well, hold on. What the fuck? Sorry. Well, what do you mean? What do you mean? You're telling me I can't talk about what I want to talk about right now? Stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But like for the most part, I found like the crew, because you're in it for so long, you know what I mean? It was a 6-week ordeal. They're kind of in the same boat as you. So they don't want any issues because it sucks for them as well. The cooler that they are with you, the better rapport you have with them, the easier their lives were. So, for me, it was like a great experience. I got some of the best training partners in the world that I could have had at the time. It got me into a position where I had a job for years and years fighting with the UFC. But there's absolutely no way on God's green earth that I could go back and do it at this point in my life. Like, I can't imagine. There were guys who were in their 30s with kids and stuff who were on the show with me. And like, I would have wanted to rip my head off if I were those guys. You know what I mean? So I kind of sympathize with them now as I've grown up a little bit. But like I said, I can't complain about the experience, but it was also so long ago that my complaints are probably just, I've forgotten
them. Okay. Yeah, that definitely nothing like how my experience went. I didn't have cameras in a bathroom, so I was good with that.
Oh man, everywhere we went, you couldn't escape them.
Yeah, I mean that was the only place they didn't follow. So
Yeah,
if you
I
would,
think they. I think they. I think they had multiple cameras. I think they had extras in there.
oh man, be throwing towels over them or something.
They had the one coming straight up out of the toilet. What?